It is The Riot. Good day. Welcome to the Friday podcast.
See, it sounds happier, doesn't it?
It does. We made it through the week. And I think we're going to cap off tonight after the 5K with some Taco Bell.
Whoa, is that what you're going to celebrate with?
That's how I'm going to celebrate.
So we have our RadioU 5K. We've got an in-person and we've been promoting our virtual one. But I don't want you to think we are like Hudson and I. We did our virtual version. It's not like we're running in the event tonight.
Yeah.
Because it seems like that'd be the only reason why you would celebrate when it's done. So it seems like, are you running it again and then you're getting Taco Bell? Or we're just running the event, meaning we're putting it on.
Yeah, and so that's why we're celebrating, because it's the work is finally done.
It's almost there, and then
the race, the figurative race of
finished.
Running a race that you don't run in has been done. Yeah.
Well, Isaiah is running tonight, so are you going to celebrate after with anything?
I'm big time celebrating with a bunch of sleep.
We're food focused here on the show,
I know.
so if there's anything else you celebrate with, you just let us know.
Of course.
So what's in the podcast today?
So today we learned that the people of America are very, very confident in their athletic ability because they think that they could compete in the Olympics.
Yeah.
I think that's that really gets down to the heart of some of the mean comments people leave for the Olympic
you're
stuff
right.
and how. Do you actually think you could do any better?
Yeah.
But a lot of people feel like they could just get right on in on the Olympics and participate and be just as good as the athletes.
Yeah. Well, I could get out there on the figure skating and do a triple Lutz or whatever.
With no practice.
I could absolutely do the Vulcan twist like Simone Biles. Is that a gymnast move?
I don't think
the
that
Vulcan
is.
twist?
I don't think that is. Isn't that a Star Trek thing?
It
is.
It should be a gym move also. I'd
Maybe
be more
it's for
likely
some
to
other
watch
sport.
if that was part of it.
We also talk about Jeopardy and how we are very questioning of their host poll that may or may not have been made by themselves.
That one, a lot of that poll doesn't make sense because we covered some of the bigger numbers at the top of who they say we want to be hosting.
Yeah.
But they also said, I think something like 32% of men or 32% of all people say they watch every episode as it airs.
No way. No way.
This can't be real.
No.
I guess there has to, they had to have excluded from all of these numbers a certain amount of people that just said they don't know anything about Jeopardy or something.
Yeah.
They had to have, because there's no way 32% of the country is watching Jeopardy when it airs.
Maybe it's 32% of people who say they watch Jeopardy.
Yeah, watch it every day.
Not every day.
Or 32%. Maybe it's even more specific. Maybe it was 32% of men over 70 that are divorced or something. Like a really specific number.
Oh, are divorced?
I don't know. I was just trying to make it more specific. 30% of men, fine, that are single for whatever reason. Yeah.
We also talk about how Hudson may be the most hated person in his neighborhood because he's throwing his dog's poop away in other people's trash cans.
Hey, I think I got a lot of support for that.
I think people are just supportive. Of you.
Either way.
Not what you're doing.
I didn't get a lot of pushback except for from you guys. So.
Well, remember, 32% of the riot says that you need some pushback.
That would be 66%.
I know, yeah, exactly.
I believe. Actually,
thanks,
little
Hudson.
lady.
No,
oh my gosh.
No. Well, thank you guys for listening to the podcast today. There's lots of other goodies in the podcast today for you to enjoy.
Yeah. So, I almost forgot. We have a review.
Oh, yay.
A new review to read. It comes from Alex Lynn 12, and she says, I love The Riot. Been listening for almost half my life and have always looked forward to the podcast.
Aww.
You guys help me through the day. Keep up the great work.
Oh, thank
5
you for
stars.
leaving the review. Thank you.
They keep our rating keeps going up. We're at 4.9.
Nice. Keep moving.
So
well,
keep
the
it
more
going.
you guys rate and the more if you subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe back again, that helps push us to more people so they'll get to find the Riot podcast. So take some time to do that and leave a review if you've never done it before.
Yeah, and all those nice reviews, they all add up and they make us feel good.
They're
and
very, very nice to
That's
read.
the most important thing of all.
Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Talk to you later.
Think of it as athleisure for your ears. RadioU's Worst of the Riot podcast.
We also can take a look at another competition that just recently wrapped up.
Ooh, what do we got?
We've got the Florida Python Challenge. Do you remember that?
Oh, does that start?
Oh, it finished recently.
Oh, it did?
And the results seem to now have been certified.
Oh, gosh. That's why last night I saw a video of a guy who found a Burmese python, and it was a mommy one.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, there's all these Burmese little baby pythons following the mommy. And they put them all in like these tubs. And it was a really sweet one because he's like, oh, he's like booping its nose, just kind of petting the mommy one. And then he goes, and now we're going to have to humanely euthanize them. And suddenly it wasn't so nice anymore.
That was probably from this very competition.
For this competition. Yep. I thought, oh, that's going on.
Come on.
It goes boop. And now they're dead.
That's how they kill them. They boop them.
They
boop them to death.
Boop them. So the competition in Florida for the finding the pythons is basically it goes until the 18th. So it's oh no, it was July.
It was July 8th. Yeah.
So it's done.
They wrapped it up a couple weeks ago, but now they've kind of officiated the results.
Yeah.
And so now we know how many pythons have been found and who the winner was. In total, they had about 600 people participate.
Wow.
And they removed 223 snakes. So
that feels lower than I thought.
And a lot of the snakes were caught by just a few people. So it sounds like there was a lot 20. Of failures out there.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who didn't get them.
Yeah.
This guy had tubs full. So, I mean, how many people are getting them?
You might have been watching a video of Charlie Dacton because he's the winner.
Oh, he won?
He won.
Why am I saying that with a cheerful voice? I don't know why. I mean,
because he's protecting Florida's environment.
It is true. Everyone in the comment section of that video was like, listen, they really are an invasive species. Like, they're not supposed to be there. And unless someone wants to fly them back to where they're supposed to have their natural environment.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they really do damage there. But he got the $10,000 ultimate grand prize. Of course, it's the ultimate one.
He got 41 pythons. So right there, that means the other 599 people only got 180 snakes.
You got a good
which makes it
amount of
feel
them.
even worse that there's just so many people out there that had no luck whatsoever. And then Charlie was doing 41. And apparently he not only found 41 pythons, but he found a lot of eggs as well.
Oh,
So,
what about the longest one?
The longest was found by a guy named Dusty the Wild Man Crumb.
Oh, that's he's got a nickname?
Yeah, see now Charlie Dacton, the winner with the most snakes, he was a novice. Like he's not a professional, but Dusty the Wild Man Crumb is a professional, and you can tell by the name.
Oh my gosh.
You don't get that name by being a novice.
Hudson, he was the one-time Guardians of the Glades star.
Is that a show?
No, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it is a show, or it was a professional event.
That has to be if that's just a title, it should be a show on A&E. Yeah, A&E.
Discovery.
What's the other one? I mean, Animal Planet hopefully wouldn't do that.
A YouTube original, it feels like that.
Yep. Or History Channel. Yes. Something like that.
He got a python that was 15 feet 5 inches.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
You could also watch the closing of the Olympics because we're on the last days here. Believe it wraps up tonight.
Yeah. So is that wrapping up now because it's ahead?
There's definitely stuff still going on.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think because the USA still has to play for the gold medal of basketball. So I think that might be actually tonight, overnight sometime. And then the ceremonies are right after that, maybe. I don't know. But either way, they're about to wrap up. And we have a new survey out that says that basically a lot of people think that they could just jump into the Olympics, no problem. Just normal people.
And medal or just go to the Olympics?
Just compete.
Just compete in it?
Yeah, which is probably true if you went to the right country and they're like, well, we need to have somebody from, I don't want to make one country feel bad, so I'm not going to.
Don't pick one.
But some country where they don't have a lot of people.
And they've been eyeing Hudson.
Right.
And they want to know if he wants to represent.
They'll take you and they'll put you into ski jumping or something.
Oh my gosh. People say that they feel like they're fit enough. So 40% feel they're fit enough to compete in at least one summer or winter sport at the Olympics.
Yeah. I want to know if you if you had to make the Olympics in one sport, you could even train to lead up to it if you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, you could practice. Which sport are you going to take?
I don't want something too aggressive.
Yeah. So the power walking, did you see all the videos of the power walking yesterday? Yeah.
Why was the guy holding the paddle up to the guy?
I
Was
don't
he walking
know.
too fast?
I don't know.
Do you know
That could
did you
be
see
it.
it though?
Yeah.
The guy with the yellow paddle, he's like, hey. I'm like, why is he? What's going on there? But yeah, I laughed at that
Every
totally.
time, I hate to, I'm sure they're athletes, but to me, it looks like they really have to go to the bathroom and they're just trying to,
Hold it
they
together.
don't want to full on run because that would cause a stir at the party, but they really need to go.
But they're way fitter than all of us.
Yeah, they have to be.
It
I mean,
just-
they're power walking a long distance.
I think I would pick maybe archery or something where
Yeah, you think you could do that?
you could really, be your own person.
Yeah.
Go on in and not have to be, I feel like that might be less stress.
Yeah, I think for me, I wouldn't want to pick up and do it like just from never having done it. But I think if I could train to get ready, I think I could do curling.
You think so?
That's my
that's my Winter Olympics.
And it's Canadian, so it's probably in my blood.
I'm sure it
I could
is.
just jump in and do curling. I mean, again, you'd have to train me a little bit, but maybe that's just because I really want to try curling.
But I feel
so I'm trying
like
to talk myself into it.
You can do there's a curling league here.
I know. I've always wanted to, and I can't talk my wife into it.
A lot of people say that basketball, soccer, and swimming are popular choices that people think that they could be
Oh, there's no
making
chance.
the cut in it.
There's
and
no chance.
That's the ones that are too, you have to be really, really fit.
Yeah,
Especially swimming.
Yeah, I don't know how you would. I mean, you could just swim in the Olympics, and at least you would finish last, but at least you wouldn't be so out of place. Where if you were basketball, you'd actually be
You're
hurting the team
Yeah,
if you tried to
exactly.
play basketball or soccer.
Well, if you think that you could make it in the Olympics when you're watching and you think you could do better than someone,
Yeah.
you're not the only person thinking that.
Yeah, apparently a lot of us are just like, look at those, look at that equestrian.
I can do better.
Yeah, I could ride that horse and make him do the little things.
When really we can't.
No, absolutely not.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the riot.
Jeopardy, their search for a new host, which seems to be concluding, although they do still have a few more guest hosts scheduled.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, I saw that guy from CNBC. I don't know who he is, but his name is David Ferber. He's supposed to be hosting soon. But what a time to come in when you already they've kind of revealed that it's going to be Mike Richards is going to be the new host of Jeopardy.
And everybody's like, who?
Yeah, not Kramer from Seinfeld.
No, this
that's
is
Michael Richards.
That's right. That is him. This is the guy who's the executive producer of the show.
Yep.
And he filled in because people are not happy, by
Yeah.
the way. They really wanted the one guy, LeVar Burton. But it's not like any of the people that are so vocal about their displeasure at the choice of host.
Uh-huh.
None of them are going to watch anyways.
You can't imagine.
But,
it's you look at the reaction to it and it's like, what are we all going to do? Continue to not watch Jeopardy?
I know. Like, there we go. We're really teaching them.
Yeah, that'll show them. But there was actually a poll that just came out that breaks down who people do want to be the new host of Jeopardy. Mm-hmm. And coming in first place is Ken Jennings.
Hey.
Yeah, the long time. He set the record for most Jeopardy wins in a row.
Yeah.
And he won the contest of champions against that James guy and somebody else. And 23% of respondents to this poll said Ken Jennings should be the new host.
So I think they passed on him, though, because of the problematic past tweets and stuff.
He has problematic past tweets?
Oh, yes. He has some problematic
Really?
things that kind of flared up around the time he started hosting.
Huh.
So there was a lot of drama concerning him on if he would actually be given the show, if people were okay with him or not okay with him.
Yeah, I didn't.
But then they also say Mike Richards has just some problematic. Everybody has problems.
Yeah.
So this guy came.
Well, yeah,
apparently in
Mike
second.
Richards went on a rant on stage using No, that was Michael Richards.
That was the other guy.
That was the other Richards. But, okay, wait a minute. Mike Richards came in second place in this poll.
And you don't believe it.
No. 14% of people think Mike Richards should be the next host of Jeopardy. 14% of people have never heard of Mike Richards.
Maybe they were coming out with this. Maybe Jeopardy put this out so that people would think, oh, no, someone else must have liked him, and maybe that's why they gave him the show.
This is an internal poll of Jeopardy, and the 14% is one person. It's Mike Richards himself.
Listen, Hudson's very passionate about this, and he doesn't watch.
I'm not passionate. I don't really care who hosts Jeopardy. And again, Mike Richards might be a great host. I don't know because I haven't watched. But what I do know is that there's no way 14% of people think Mike Richards should be the next host
but you weren't
of the general public.
To even know.
But no, neither was nobody else. So how would they know who he is?
So they say 3 was LeVar Burton at 10%, Mayim Bialik at 8%, Aaron Rodgers, Katie Couric, Anderson Cooper, Dr. Oz, Robin Roberts, and then George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, that's your top 10.
That was the top 10
I just
list
don't believe
of
it.
people that who they wanted voted by Jeopardy fans. So Ken Jennings was still number 1.
And those 10% of people that are LeVar Burton supporters, they're the entirety of Twitter. Everybody,
yeah, pretty much.
That's all you'll see is how he's been slighted.
I can't repeat the things that I saw on Twitter yesterday about Mike Richards and the LeVar Burton thing.
Well, Mike Richards, it's just like Jeopardy hosted like a big, elaborate public interview process. And then they're like, oh, we're hiring ourselves.
The guy who hosted the interview was the one who ended up getting it.
I'm just going to hire myself instead.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Well, we've talked about this before, and it just doesn't seem to get any better. The Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, once again urging airports and airlines to try to curb the amount of alcohol people are drinking and, more importantly, bringing onto planes.
Oh, so it's if you buy it in the airport or if you're drinking it at an airport bar and then you bring it on the plane with you?
Yes, they are. That's what they're really hitting on right now. The FAA has advised airport police to make more arrests of disruptive passengers, and they're asking bars and restaurants not to let patrons leave with alcoholic beverages, which many bring through onto boarding, which you're not actually allowed to do.
Yeah, because and then they, stopped selling a lot of alcohol on planes.
Yeah, that was the first thing they did.
Because people were not being nice, and it was adding fuel to the fire. And so they don't want, others to just take more onto the planes.
Yeah, and like I guess the idea is it's a lot easier to stop somebody who's being belligerent and drunk. It's a lot easier to deal with them on the ground before they even get on the flight than letting them get on the flight. And even though alcohol isn't served on there, they've had a few beforehand, and they wind up like that guy groping people and yelling that his parents are worth $2 million from earlier this week.
They don't know what to do. This was before COVID and stuff, but one of the last flights I took, someone had made a duty-free order, and so they had ordered a ton of like bottles of whiskey or something.
Oh yeah,
and they had closed the airport, like the plane door, and they weren't going to open it up. So the person was getting mad that they weren't going to get their delivery, and so in the pilot area, they cracked one of the front windows.
Oh my gosh!
And they put the bags of alcohol through the window so the person could get it.
Oh no!
And I'm just like, are we waiting on this?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? And the person got their delivery.
Jeez.
They got all of it.
Wow.
I thought, please don't open this up.
It's important.
It's important for that.
Yeah.
But I have been on other flights where maybe you need a blanket or something else.
and actual
it's not
seats,
important. Yeah.
Things like that.
And suddenly your important item is not important anymore.
Well, on that note, it seems that many airlines are just nipping the problem in the bud altogether by just not even offering flights. Yeah. So you can't have drunk passengers on a plane if you're not flying anywhere.
Spirit Airlines is really the front runner in this.
They've taken a whole new approach to the problem.
Problem solved.
Yeah, you can't have issues like that.
Oh, I love this. It's sad. I don't like that because so many people have been stuck traveling. But what a way to fix the problem.
Yeah, but it's just...
I hear you.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say.
The other thing is, I just don't understand how the restaurants and bars. Have you been to one at an airport? Like, it's not exactly like.
Well, they're mostly just restaurants.
Yeah.
But they say that airports can help bring awareness to this prohibition on passengers carrying open alcohol on board their flights through signage, because that'll work.
Yeah, right.
Public service announcements, because everybody's listening to those. And concessionaire education.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I brought Isaiah on for this one as well, Mr. News and Traffic, because Nikki, I know you're a dog owner.
I am.
But I know you don't like to walk your dogs.
Well, I have a fence, so they like to free themselves out there.
And I find it hard to believe that even if you did walk your dogs, you wouldn't be really interested in picking up their poop.
Probably not, but you should as a responsible dog owner.
Yeah, you should. I just can't imagine you personally picking it up.
That's an Eric thing.
Yeah, right. But Isaiah, you
right
have
to check
a dog.
with Isaiah.
So I want to get your opinion on this, because I was out, and this happens to me all the time, walking my dog yesterday. And of course, she goes to the bathroom, and it's always like right near the beginning of the walk. And so then it's like, do you walk around with the dog poop in your bag, just carrying it and let it swing around the whole time? Or is it okay when somebody's got their trash can left out at the side of the road? Can you just drop it in a stranger's trash can? Their dumpster.
So you're wondering about the etiquette of that?
Man. Yeah, is that bad?
I'll lean towards Isaiah on what he thinks first.
First of all,
with his little dog Jim.
Yeah.
Very little poops from Jim. So I don't feel it's bad if I do that, but I think that is definitely wrong.
You think it's wrong?
To
yes.
put it in
Why?
someone else's trash can?
It's garbage. It's what the garbage can is for.
But it's going to smell up the whole thing. The next time someone opens that thing up to throw something in there, they're going to be like, what is in there?
What are they expecting? Their trash can to smell good?
Now, do you want it to be before trash pickup or?
If it is trash night, which was 2 nights ago, everything is fair game.
I think that's true.
Yeah, but if they leave their trash can out and it's like last night, 24 hours later.
But then you're putting it in their empty trash can.
It's a fresh trash can.
Yeah, but obviously they don't care that much because they've let their trash can sit out for at least 24 hours.
They could be busy.
Then they're too busy to smell the dog poop.
Oh, man.
Did you want to ask them?
Would it be better if I also brought their trash can to the back to the side of the house?
That might just be disrespectful.
Now that would be weird because they're like, is he taking our trash can? What's he doing?
I bring this up to you because I think this is safe, because if I posted this on like Nextdoor or the Facebook community forum or something, which that everybody, that would be a huge argument.
Oh, yeah.
There would be a big divide. And I think my feeling is that other dog owners would understand. So sometimes I'm walking by houses and I see they have a dog and I'm like, and they're like, the people are outside and I'm like, I almost think they might just call me over and say, hey, is that dog poop? Just drop it right in.
Or if not, are you thinking they'll just have you leave it in the yard? Like, is that your dog or my dog?
Yeah, you could just slip it in there. They won't even know.
I don't know.
So you don't do that then.
The trash can it's a personal property thing. I'm not sure.
I think it would be acceptable if you felt comfortable doing it if you can see them. Like if they're looking through their window and you feel comfortable to open it up and be like, drop it in there and know that they saw you do it, then you can do it. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you shouldn't do it.
That is a great point. Outside of the eye contact of doing that without knowing the person and you're just staring at them while you do it, that almost feels aggressive. But that's true. I've had people where I could see that they were looking out the window and their trash can was at the curb. And I specifically avoided those ones because I was like, what if it caused an argument? So I guess I don't so firmly believe that you should be able to do it.
So did you put it in someone's trash can?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, Hudson.
I do it. I just don't know if I should feel bad about it.
Oh, you just want to know?
Yeah.
Well, feel free to text and let Hudson know. Is he a monster? Does he need shamed or is he just fine?
I do think, though, that the majority of the time when the trash can is out at the curb and it's not actually trash day, I just assume that's people that aren't actually there. They're on vacation.
So they won't even see
Yeah, they won't even notice. And what are the odds that they have a Ring doorbell and they're going to recognize me and chase me down?
They'll come back after vacation and find you.
Text in with your opinion, 8772 RadioU. I really want to know.
The The riot isn't all bad, but this is the worst of the riot. Radio U.
This sounds kind of wonderful, actually. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. The KFC Chicken Hotel.
Oh, it does sound good. It's a pop-up though.
Yeah.
So it's London.
It's London, so we're not even, I don't think, allowed to go.
Well, you could go ahead and you could recreate.
Yeah.
I feel like if you find a sort of here you like a boutique hotel.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself a boutique hotel and get yourself a lot of KFC delivered, it'd be the same thing.
I kind of think if you just stayed in like Donald Trump's presidential suite,
something like
this
that.
would be very similar because KFC is they've got a pop-up hotel in London. It's called the House of Harland. It costs $154 a night, but
it'll be open for 11 nights this month.
Yep, but each room has a free room service press for chicken button where you can get up to $139 worth of fried chicken brought to your room.
Listen, you stop eating a few days before. You're going to have to prepare, or maybe you got to stretch your stomach a little bit and then and make sure you have just liquids or something because you want room for all that.
You got to dip the chicken in the water to get it to
eat it?
Slide down. Yeah, that $139 worth of free chicken is a challenge right there.
It's August 18th through the 29th in London, and that's a reference for the 11 nights to the 11 herbs and spices.
Oh, I didn't even catch
Everything
that
has
one.
a reason for it. Harlan for the name is Colonel Harlan, David Sanders, KFC's founder.
And I also like this. They have a black Cadillac that they call the Colonel Mobile.
Oh, do they?
to pick up guests.
Oh, to take them there?
Yeah, to chick in. We don't even need to come up with jokes. They've got them all.
There's a hot wing arcade machine, chicken concierge service. All you do is you press your button in your room. You get free chicken, KFC chicken. You get a $139 allowance for your stay so that you can order up to that.
Man, it actually it looks really cool. And I think other hotels need to catch on with this.
On the chicken button?
Yeah, every hotel should have a chicken button.
Well, for this, you can book only one night stay, and it's a maximum of 2 people in the room, and that's it. And they'll take hotel bookings starting on the 11th. So
you got a few days to prepare your trip to London. If you had some vacation time left over for the summer and you want to make the most of it, just, I don't know how you're going to be able to fly to London. There's not going to be any planes for you, but...
Well, you can find it. It just seems like that would be a lot to set up just for this.
Yeah. Well, if you want to, there must be other things to do in London, surely.
I don't know, Hudson. I'm not sure.
Maybe Big Ben and the chicken restaurant, the chicken hotel, and that's your vacation.
This feels a lot like, what was the last one? The Taco Bell Hotel. That was available for a while. So it's more popular for fast food restaurants to start doing this.
I'll let you know that for my vacation, I didn't plan it around the chicken, but I was very excited to realize yesterday that Bojangles, which I've never gotten to go to.
I've never been to either.
Is where I am going. And Cookout is on the way as well. So it's going to be a whole fast food extravaganza.
Now at Cookout, you're just going to want to be aware that I don't know if you want to start like pre-lining your stomach with like some sort of antacid or, just something if you want to make sure that you're not sick for the rest of your trip.
Yeah, well, Cookout isn't in. I'm going to Dollywood. I'm going to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Cookout isn't in that area, but it's along the way on my drive. So I don't know if I should do it on the way there. Or if I should on the way back so that I'm not sick at Dollywood.
And you need to get a milkshake too.
Oh, of course.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
Remember the Hunger Games?
So I always forget that was books.
Yeah,
it
was.
And then another book, and then I guess they're supposed to do something more?
Yeah, so the Hunger Games was, you're right, it was books at first, young adult novels, as they are sometimes called. And they came. What year did the first movie come out?
Let's see. Plans on the film. They hope to release. That was the other one.
Yeah, I don't see the. It was
I'll
like
look it up.
Probably about 10 years ago was the first Hunger Games movie, but it feels like forever ago. 2012. So that was where some would say Jennifer Lawrence kind of got her. Wait, is that her name? Jennifer J-Law.
Lawrence?
Yeah, she was the one that was the star of the movie. She was Katniss Everdeen, and that was where they did an original trilogy, and it was a big deal, especially the first one. It was huge. And now, 8 years removed from the original movie is when they are beginning production, I guess 7 years removed from the original movie. No, 9 years. Several years after the release of the original movie.
I think, Hudson, it's safer if we don't try to count with that. We just say, yes, several years later.
Several years after the release of the original movie, they are now working on a prequel movie based off of a prequel novel called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes that they already had decided to make a movie out of the book before the book was even released.
I see. So they're going to plan to film this and release, hopefully they say in late 23 or 24.
Yeah, so that's why I'm getting all my numbers mixed
there's
up.
Too
because
many?
There's how many years ago the movie came out to when they're starting on it to when it will be released. So they've actually started, and I just don't know if Hunger Games still has the same. It's only been, I guess, how would you like to look at that? It's only been about a decade since the first one came out.
Honestly,
so it's been even less since the third one.
I mean, everybody does prequels, though. They say this will be set 64 years before the other start kicking in.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so many people do that. Or you could have told me they were going to head and just redo Hunger Games. So we're at that point,
It's been long enough. I just don't know. Like, it was just such a thing of the time when it came out. And I don't know that anybody now is still so attached to the Hunger Games that they're going to be excited
the books,
for another new round of it. Supposedly the book is kind of controversial. I guess that's just because why did they need to add on to the story when it was already complete in some people's eyes?
That is a good question. Really, the answer is money.
Yeah, that's right.
They want to continue that, and then that way they connect and keep people, stringing along for when they ever redo Hunger Games.
Yeah,
which I'm sure they would do eventually.
And it just seems that movie studios, once the first Hunger Games came out and it did so well, they kind of got this real thing stuck in their minds where they needed to make more young adult novel movies.
Oh, sure.
And I don't think any of them have panned out that well, but besides the Hunger Games trilogy. Yeah, like what was the ones like Divergent and Emergent and Subversint and all the Vergents?
I don't know if you're getting them all correct, but I really appreciate you trying.
They made several.
They made a ton of other stuff.
I guess if they made several, that means they must have done all right. But I didn't think none of them caught on the way the Hunger Games did.
We would say rate and review the podcast. But let's be honest, that would probably hurt more than help. The Worst of the Riot podcast.
We mentioned a time or two that it's 5K day.
Yay!
The virtual 5K, you can still sign up. And for the rest of today, you're still able to get the shirt and medal with that at RadioU.com/5K.
Yes. So even if you don't have a chance to enter in your time, you can just email it to us.
Sure. Or you can just, I won't tell anybody if you don't run at all. I'm not going to report anyone.
Are they just getting the shirt and the medal?
Yeah, you just want the shirt and the medal, and the running is, it's optional. But we're also doing the in-person 5K today. Isaiah is going to be actually running it.
He's our Riot representative, so you're doing it for the show, too.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, for us, because we, it wouldn't be right if we did it.
But I have to run the music.
Oh, you're right.
I've got work.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the one running it.
And I already ran my 5K. So, but we wanted to know, what is your pregame, pre-run eating regiment?
Oh, good question.
How have you been preparing that way?
So I've been preparing all week pretty heavily. Mainly ice cream at night, Oreos, at least 2 of them.
You didn't say preparing by eating, but like, were you running or are you just going to run it? I feel like I know you already. You're going to go in, you're going to get an amazing time, and it's not even going to be a problem for you. We just know that's how it is.
I think Nikki's expectations are really high, and now it's going to be sad if you don't run a really good time.
See, listen, so I was pretty calm all week. I haven't really been running at all. I mean, I work out frequently, but I don't ever really run. But now, I thought I'd be able to kind of slide by, but now my girlfriend is also running it.
Yeah.
And one of my best friends is running it too. So I thought before I was running it by myself and I'd be able to kind of just go at my own pace. But now they're both like super uber competitive. And so I can't lose to my girlfriend.
No, of course not.
If I lose to my girlfriend, I am calling off Cedar Point tomorrow. I have to hide for like a week. I can't let her see me. So I can't lose to her, but her and my best friend are like super into fitness. They run way more than I do.
Yeah.
And so I know that I'm really going to be pushing myself tonight. It's starting to worry me because they're like fitness freaks, and I ate a cupcake yesterday at 7 a.m.
But listen, you have a Gatorade every morning, so I feel like you're more fit than the rest of us.
That makes you an athlete.
It does. It does. But you were supposed to weren't you supposed to carb load last night for dinner?
Oh, I'm sure.
Like you were supposed to have pasta.
Yeah, I didn't have pasta last
Well,
night.
you can have it today.
I can still do it today.
No.
Yeah.
Then I think he throws it up. I don't think you're supposed to do it on race day.
No, you can do it on race day. Come on.
It's supposed to be
There's
super hot and humid.
In the break room right now, pre-prepared.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You just pop it in the microwave.
We have some olive oil.
At this point, I'm just
oil.
hoping that I cross the finish line without getting injured. And I know when I cross the finish line, I'm not going to be able to speak. I'm going to be so out of breath. My chest is going to feel like I just inhaled a flaming hot Cheeto. It's going to hurt so bad. So I'm kind of worried about the whole, getting through it.
Yeah.
But once I cross the finish line, I'm going to feel really, really good.
Yeah, it's like you
Isaiah
accomplished
has
something.
a lot of pressure on him, but for everybody else, if you join us in person, you can walk or run and take as long as you want.
Yep.
We don't leave if it's past a certain point. We're like, well, we're done. Isaiah's done, so we can wrap up. But you guys take your time, or if you do it virtually, it's a lot of fun. But I know that we push ourselves,
And it doesn't matter if you lose to Isaiah's girlfriend. It only matters if Isaiah loses to his girlfriend. And I just imagine that if she does beat you, tomorrow at Cedar Point, she's going to be every once in a while, so just run ahead and be like, come on, Slowpoke,
She's first in line for all of it.
Yeah.
She wins
she's
the
sprinting
race.
ahead and just taunting you the whole time. Yeah.
I like healthy relationships,
Exactly, yeah. It's all good fun. We're just super uber competitive. So if you pass me tonight, don't feel too good about yourself, okay?
Worst of the Riot podcast.
How about this? Traveling to Indonesia.
Hey, that sounds nice.
Does it?
Well, I've always wanted more international travel.
Yeah.
What should I do there?
I bet you they'd have unique cuisine. Maybe you could eat a Komodo dragon.
I don't know if they push that part.
Yeah, probably not. I think the Komodo dragons are protected.
I think so. Would it be like our eagle here?
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know if it's the national animal, but you could be right. But you might not be able to eat a Komodo dragon, but you could go to an island filled with them, Jurassic Park style.
And everybody in this article is like, well, based on the movies, we saw a little bit of a problem doing this, but we'll see what Indonesia comes up with. But it's the Komodo National Park.
Yeah.
And it was established, I think, in 1980.
Yep.
But now they're wanting to bring in more tourism with it. So they're trying to expand it.
Yeah. And the trouble is, it's not just protected by Indonesia. Supposedly, it's protected by what's called the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization.
It's a World Heritage Site.
Yeah, so it's protected internationally to keep the Komodo dragons safe. Yeah, right. Probably.
Basically, they do that to keep tourism from ruining it. But it's islands, and they're full of Komodo dragons.
Yeah. So but with that, Indonesia wants to turn it into a tourist destination, but they aren't especially clear on how they're going to do that. It's just we want people to come see the Komodo dragons. So how are they going to do that?
They're protected.
Yeah.
So
how are
they're
they
not sure.
How are they going to do that appropriately? And mind you, not just protecting the Komodo dragons. The Komodo dragons are the largest lizard in the world, I do believe, and they're quite quite dangerous. They are venomous and they do bite.
Yeah.
So I don't know how close you want to get to them. If you've ever been, I know people that have been bitten by iguanas.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know they bite.
Yeah, they do too. They can be pretty crazy pets to have. And you gotta, that is a serious bite if you get an iguana bite, and they're nowhere near as big as Komodos.
And I'm worried too. They run, Komodo Dragons run 12 miles per hour.
That's too fast for us.
Too
we
fast.
Can't keep up with that.
We're walkers, so we don't want to do that. They have large venom-laced teeth, and it allows them to incapacitate you with a single bite. Though this story says they've been known to bite you a lot, so it's not like they're just going to bite you once.
Yeah, just once to deter you. They're going to be chomping down.
If you get bit by a Komodo dragon, this is bad. A lot of people die within a couple of hours because of the attack. So they are not to be messed with, which is why even though Indonesia wants to promote more tourism with this place, there would be a huge safety issue with the Komodo Dragon Islands that you could go visit.
And the thing totally is that the more people you bring in, because they do say Komodo dragon attacks are pretty rare, but the more people you bring into an area,
like us,
the more likely there's somebody. Yeah, the more likely that some of the tourists are really dumb. Yeah. Or as we see with planes and stuff, are just drinking too much or something and think that they can start antagonizing the Komodo dragons. And before you know it, you have an attack on your hands.
Everybody's comparing it to Jurassic Park and Jurassic World and all that stuff. Yeah. And they say that just so many more tourists would disrupt the balance of the islands and the Komodo dragons and everything else. So they're not sure.
Even if you look at the dragons, they do look like dinosaurs.
I know.
They might not be as big as a T-Rex, but that doesn't mean they're not just as ferocious.
I think I'll pass on this vacation idea, Hudson, but thank you for the option.
It's a lot of trouble. We'll just stick with Dollywood.
That's a lot of questions there. I think it might be safer somewhere else.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.